News Talk 1450 WOL and WOLDCnews.com.
¿Qué pasa, ladies? Antonio the Cuban Cigar Smoker, and you are locked in the two baddest boys I know, Lazy Lamont and Lorenzo, street senators all day, every day. Suave. Suave.
Street Senators Radio, WOL 1450 AM. WOLDCnews.com, 1-800-450-7876. Lorenzo, Lamont, Victory, and Young P.D. Green.
On the line right now, joining us on the Senate floor, Dashawn Taylor, self-published author, and quite a few things, business owner, entrepreneur going on. You were saying your last thought about you was about to drop a secret, unveil a secret. I was reading,
publishing.
On publishing, on self-publishing, and why it's advantageous to.
Why it's advantageous basically to kind of go at it on your own right now, because the publishing houses, the bigger publishing houses, they're really putting out too many projects, in my opinion. I think they're putting out too many books on a monthly basis too fast. And most new authors, really, the job of a new author is really not to sell books. It's kind of really to get your name out there and get your buzz going. So really what happens is once you try to sign with those major publishers, now keep in mind, I'm not advising you not to get signed. I'm just basically trying to give you some insight of what you're going to realize once you're into it. If you're on the shelves with, 15 other authors or 20 other authors at that publishing house, and they have one or two cash cows, they're really going to push that cash cow and keep your book basically at the at the lowest possible spot. So going at it on your own, you basically learn the business. It's a little bit more expensive than getting signed in the short run, but in the long run, you don't want to find yourself into a 3 or 4 book deal and basically trying to find your way out of it before it's too late. So what I tell people is, right now, the distribution lines are wide open for you to get your projects out there. You don't necessarily have to print that book. You don't have to call up a printer and get that book out there. Once your project is finished, you can go online. You can basically get a deal through Amazon. You can get a deal through BookBaby.com. And I should be getting paid from both of those sources, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? To promote.
You said book.com?
Amazon.com and BookBaby.com. And basically really just get your project out there, learn the industry, learn the business, because that's really how I went about it. I mean, I didn't really... I wasn't excited about trying to get signed anyway in the beginning because, again, I always started businesses from the ground up. So I never had a problem with doing the dirty work, getting out there, hustling, talking to people, pushing the product, letting them know why my book is better than the next book and blah, blah, blah. And that's really what it is. It's a popularity contest. So
as with anything else.
To the readers, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're talking to the readers, you're talking to them, you got to keep pumping your book. That's really it.
That's right. Now, moving through your press kit, and I'm looking at your bio, and they put you in the category of urban literature. And they say your first project was From Poverty to Power Moves. Talk a little bit about that.
Now, From Poverty to Power Moves, that's like my that's the rock right there. I got little sidebar names for my projects. That first one is my rock, and that's the one that I kind of started off with. It was really the hardest book for me to write because it's actually about my younger years coming up, kind of what my foundation is. I grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. Anybody that know anything about Trenton, they know it's a little rough.
Yeah, I know Trenton very well.
My mother's from Trenton.
Is she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, Trenton makes the world takes.
I didn't know
the world takes, baby. Absolutely. So that's kind of, the whole book is really about everything that I went through, my true life story from 5 to 18, kind of, everything that I wanted to do with my life, kind of everything stems from Trenton. Because when I was young, I was like, it has to be more than this. I didn't want to wind up like a lot of my friends, basically just like any other hood, either dead or locked up or doing real bad right now. So I didn't want to end up like that. So my whole thing was, what am I going to do? How serious do I want it? How bad do I want it? And what is it going to take for me to kind of get out of that poverty mind frame into making power moves? So that's kind of what the journey is of the book. And then in the end of the book, I have a section called the 10 Hustle Commandments, where basically I break down the mistakes that I made coming up and the mistakes that I made when I, started a few of my businesses, to kind of tell the reader or tell that next entrepreneur, you don't have to take this same route. You can kind of do something different, and then you can kind of leapfrog what we did and do something better with yourself. So that basically the book is kind of like, it's serious, man. The book is definitely serious. It comes from a real place, you know what I'm saying? And everybody that reads it, they love it for the fact that it's not, it's not in the King's English. It's not something that's like going over their heads. You know what I'm saying? It's something that really, it hits home, man. It hits home, especially to a lot of our young brothers that's out there that's kind of nervous about expressing themselves. But we all going through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're 5 or you're 85. Everybody's going through a little bit of something. So that's the reason why I said it was the hardest for me to do, because I don't really express myself personally a lot. So writing a book was kind of like therapy.
That's the best way to do it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
we got Dashawn Taylor on. He's a self-published author, business owner, entrepreneur, reality show star. And what we're going to do right now is just open up the lines at 800-450-7876. And I've been told by some of your staff that whoever calls gets a copy of From Poverty to Power Moves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good deal right there.
Yeah, if you call up right now, for everybody that don't know, the 100K Power Movement is in full swing. If you call up, ask questions, talk or whatever,
get some insight. We'll drop a book on you. Literally. Now I see that on your press kit. Talk a little bit more about that. The 100K Power Moves tour. Now, is that motivational speaking? What else do you do?
Listen, man, I do it all, man. I do it all. If I don't do it, I know somebody that does it.
That's right.
So technically, I do it all. So basically, the 100K Power Movement, POWER stands for Positive Outreach while Encouraging Reading, and that's basically what Next Level Publishing is doing.
I like that. Say that one more time. One more time.
It's positive outreach while encouraging reading. And the goal is to snatch 100,000 young people, 100,000 kids across this country, and get them to read From Poverty to Power Move. That's the goal. So what we're looking for is for sponsors. Of course, we got a bunch of sponsors on board right now to basically come on board. Let's gather these kids up. I don't care if they're in school. I don't care if they're in an after-school program, a rehab program, a youth facility. We basically are looking to, get a nice size amount of kids to start reading and get excited about reading, because the answers to those questions that they got is in these books.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
in these books. So we definitely needed them to get excited. So if you got a pen on you, if you're listening, write it down. 100K Power Movement. Log on to nextlevelpublishing.com, and you can definitely get the information there. And
it's funny you talked about kids reading, and I used to work in a library last summer, and they would run to the computer stations. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't touch the books. It was a brand new library. They wouldn't touch the books, and that's fine if they were online reading, but they wasn't even online reading.
Yeah, no, it's what it is. It's really becoming a lost art, because what happens is when we were young coming up, we had a lot of stuff to do outside. We had the basketball court. We'd go outside and get a 25-cent hug juice and play football in the middle of the street. That's just basically how creative we were as kids.
Right.
But what's going on now is a lot of the kids are not. For whatever reason, in the inner city, they can't really hang out like we used to. Because a lot of it's a lot of violence in the streets. And,
you know what? It's not just that. It's the video games that keep them in the house.
Oh, and that's what I was going to add.
The internet.
Add that to it.
The food keeps them slow.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of, it's not a lot of people encouraging them to read. Right. So that's basically what we're trying to do. And I got to give a shout out though. Can I do a shameless plug?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. I do have to give a shout out to Dolores Facey. She's one of our major sponsors on board right now. She's actually helping out with the 100K Power Movement. You can go to her website, DoloresFacey.com, or go to the 100K Power Movement website, and you can actually click on her link. And we also have Studio D Maxi. that came on board as a sponsor, and we, basically really appreciate the sponsors because they understand what it means to get to the kids, because that's really what we need to, we really just got to find the kids and get them, basically reacquainted with books.
Right.
Put down the joysticks, put down the, the computer mouse, and really like pick up a book. Because once, and I'm like really kind of the poster child, because when I was coming up, I hated reading and I hated writing. And then people say that all the time, like, man, you're an author, you must love it. I'm like, no, it's still a labor to this day.
Yeah.
It's still a labor to write a book to this
ongoing.
day. It absolutely,
but it's beneficial.
Exactly.
Now, real quick, I'm gonna just
broccoli.
I'm gonna run down some of the places you're gonna be, because you got a heavy schedule to the end of the year. Greenbelt, you're gonna be at the Mother's Day weekend, a Wise Guy program at Eastern High School. You're gonna be in New York in May, July, Miami, New Orleans, August back in Maryland, Atlanta, New York. So, hey, we wish you the best. Make sure you keep us posted on your travels. And all of that. Keep in touch and stop by sometimes. If you're in a different market and you need some press, we're here for you. Dashawn Taylor, Next Level Publishing. The book is called From Poverty to Power Moves. You call in here, we'll get you a copy of it.